Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a dangerous habit. Lawmakers are making another push to ban cell phones while driving. Plus, protecting children. How Kentucky lawmakers are pushing a new bill to criminalize child grooming.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Welcome to Mountain News This Morning. I'm Caroline Mueller here with you on this Thursday, January 15th. We are inching up on that 5 o'clock hour, so let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmal for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, no matter how many times it happens, I'm always a little caught off guard when I see that snow on the ground when I walk out of the door in the morning, because I'm just not used to it actually sticking places.
I know, and I'm not used to that either. Yeah, this morning definitely saw some of that accumulation for many folks, and those roads are very slick, so make sure you're being careful as you're heading out. Speaking of, here's a look towards Whitesburg this morning. Definitely see that accumulation on the sides of the roads this morning. So if you have any pictures of any snow this morning, please send it in to WYMT Weather. I'd love to see that. But let's talk about what we're actively seeing right now on satellite and radar. Still seeing some scattered snow showers this morning, and we'll continue to see that throughout the next couple hours, clearing as we head into the afternoon. But the other main factor of this forecast will be those frigid temperatures, upper teens, low 20s as you're heading out the door this morning. And as you're returning back home later today, I mean, we're only going to make it to the upper 20s and low 30s, staying below freezing all day long. So get ready. It's going to be a cold day. Caroline. Thanks, Megan.
A family is without a home after a fire tore through it in Wayne County, West Virginia. Officials say a two-story home on Dogwood Lane caught fire Monday evening. Neighbors say the family was home at the time, but everyone made it out safely. Neighbors also say when the fire started, everyone in the neighborhood immediately came together to support them while crews worked to fight the flames. But unfortunately, officials say the home is a loss. New details in a plane crash that killed 15 people in Louisville back in November. The National Transportation Safety Board released a new report about what went wrong. It points to a defective spherical bearing as the root cause. Parts of the wreckage were sent to the NTSB lab in Washington for examination. Investigators have found that the spherical bearing race on the left pylon lug failed after developing fatigue cracking. When that part broke in half, it caused the left engine and pylon to separate from the wing. According to the NTSB, that same part was already on Boeing's radar more than a decade ago. The second shooting in Minneapolis at the hands of an ICE agent has set off fresh clashes between protesters and federal officers there. U.S. officials tell CBS News that a Venezuelan migrant is expected to be okay after an agent shot him in the leg. Officials say the shooting happened after the agent was attacked by men with shovels during an immigration operation. That agent is also reported to be okay.
Go home. We cannot counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos.
They can protest all they want. We're just going to double down and enforce the law.
With the city now on edge, last night, Minnesota's Democratic Governor Tim Walz urged President Trump to pull back the federal immigration surge. President Trump says Iran's planned executions are now on pause as protests there continue. Iranian airspace closed for hours amid high tensions with the U.S. over Tehran's bloody crackdown on anti-government protests. Medical officials contacted by CBS News inside Tehran believe the protester death toll stands at least 12,000. The foreign ministers of Greenland and Denmark were in Washington yesterday to meet with Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Vice President J.D. Vance about the White House's renewed pledge to acquire Greenland. They said they made it very clear this was not in their interest. The president says the U.S. needs Greenland for national security purposes to push the control Greenland has sparked bipartisan pushback and concern about what it means for the NATO alliance. Senator Mitch McConnell was asked about his thoughts on the president attempting to purchase Greenland. He said, quote, "This is about more than Greenland. It's about more than America's relationship with its highly capable Nordic allies. It's about whether the United States intends to face a constellation of strategic adversaries with capable friends or commit an unprecedented act of strategic self-harm and go it alone," end quote. At the White House, President Trump put his signature on a law that makes milk at the nation's schools whole again. With a bottle of milk on his Oval Office desk, the president signed into law the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act. Congress passed the legislation late last year. It lets schools participating in the National School Lunch Program, which provides meals for nearly 30 million students, offer whole milk or 2% milk to students.
Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, whole milk is, right? That's a great thing.
The new law reverses Obama-era restrictions that limited options to low-fat or fat-free milk, which was aimed at fighting childhood obesity. In a statement, the head of the International Dairy Foods Association praised the new law, saying it gives schools, quote, "the flexibility to offer the flavored and unflavored milk options across all healthy fat levels that meet students' needs and preferences." Two bills that impact drivers advanced in a state legislative committee. Senate Bill 7 is considered priority legislation. It would simply allow one of 4 county offices, the circuit or county clerk, sheriff, or judge executive, to have a space for people to renew their driver's license for a $25 fee. It's not mandated and only optional for local officials to participate. Lawmakers also advanced Senate Bill 28. It would ban handheld phone use while driving. Drivers could still use Bluetooth or other hands-free devices to make calls. Both bills now go to the full Senate. Kentucky could soon make child grooming a felony. House Bill 4 aims to prevent sexual solicitation against children before it happens. Madison Porter explains.
House Bill 4 would criminalize child grooming for the first time in Kentucky.
We do not have any statutes that protects our children from this predatory behavior that occurs prior to physical sexual abuse.
The bill defines grooming as building a connection with a child with the goal of facilitating sexual conduct in person or online. There are 2 levels of charges. First, grooming a child under 14, and second, someone in authority grooming anyone 18 or under.
In the Commonwealth, I'm glad we're going to be one of 13 states that will have protections for our minors. Our most valuable assets are our children.
Boone County leaders brought the idea to Representative Marianne Proctor. Commonwealth's attorney Lewis Kelly says a recent case uncovered this gap.
An individual was sentenced to 15 years in prison for sexual assault, but had engaged in grooming behavior for years. That had we known and had we had these laws, we could have maybe prevented that or stopped that.
Supporters say House Bill 4 has a high bar for criminalization. Prosecutors must examine how people communicate, the nature of the relationship, and conversation topics.
That burden is there to make sure we're not criminalizing otherwise good faith behavior, because we don't want to do that. We want to target people who we think are acting in bad faith.
Those accused of grooming could face felony charges. In Frankfort, Madison Porter, WKYT.
The bill exempts legitimate communication with minors. That includes teachers, doctors, police, and age-appropriate talks about sexuality. Kentucky's first medical cannabis dispensary is getting ready to reopen for good this time. The Post dispensary in Beaver Dam in Ohio County first opened its doors on December 13th. However, they closed right before Christmas because they ran out of product to sell. Those products were grown by Farm Tucky, Kentucky's first licensed cultivator to bring medical marijuana to market. The Post will reopen Friday and should stay open every day from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. Thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News This Morning. Still to come, human trafficking does not always look like what people expect, and state police say that's part of the problem.
And we're talking more rounds of Wintry Mix on the way.